Hi, this is Elizabeth with Mama Can Do It, and today I just wanted to show you my favorite way to add a binding onto a garment. So I have one shoulder sewn together, and I just have one very long strip of binding, and it's actually only about 1 inch wide, and it was cut against the grain. And what I'm going to do is show you how I attach it onto the neckline of this shirt. So right now the right sides are together of the binding and the shirt, and I'm going to use my serger, and while I'm serging I'm just going to gently tug on the binding so that it's just a little bit shorter than the garment itself. I stop every inch or so and readjust. You want to try to keep an even tug on that binding. I always go over the edge about 1 inch longer than where I'm sewing. There. So now you can see that this is a little bit puckered right here on the garment because the binding is actually a little bit shorter, and that's going to be perfect as far as for laying against the skin. Alright, I've brought the garment over to my sewing machine, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the seam that I just sewed with my serger that goes all the way across the binding. You can start wherever you want, really. That's just where I prefer to start. What I'm going to do is, keeping the wrong side facing up, I'm just going to fold my binding inward like this. And I'm going to place it underneath my presser foot. And the way I'm going to do that is by making sure I can see the nice edge of that seam on the right side of my presser foot. It works the best to do this with the wrong side facing up, like how I've got it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sew it about 3/8 an inch away from this nice seam right here, and as I do that I'm going to tug it ever so gently so that there are no puckers, and I'm going to take it 1 inch at a time. And I'm going to readjust. Now that I'm nearing the edge, I can see that my binding was a little bit off. It's okay. I am just going to make it as even as I can as I finish it off here, so that my seam will end up right at the same spot that I started it at. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the excess bit of the binding, this part right here, off fairly close to the seam. And you can see I got very close to that seam. Now I have the excess of the binding trimmed off of the neckline of my shirt. And if you notice that there might be a little bit of bunching similar to this, once you use an iron on it as hot as the fabric will allow, it will smooth right out. And then this neckline is ready to wear.